Hello, this is a video on lesson 3-5. And there's some parts of here where we are writing some parallel and perpendicular lines and some equations. And then we have some other kind of interesting logic problems that we're going to do here. So this kind of question that we're going to go over right now is definitely going to be on your test. So we're going to do a problem right now, kind of walk through it. Then I will give you a second problem and you guys can go ahead and practice that. And then there will be one assignment like this on your homework today. There'll be another one on your homework tomorrow, and then there will be a review one, and then you will also see this on your test. So you're going to see this next kind of problem, 5 different problems of this. So right now, you should probably pause your video, read this, think through it, and see if you can figure this out, and then come back and replay your video and find the solution. Don't spend too much time figuring it out, but please take a minute or two to try to see if you can figure this out on your own. All right, here we go. So we've got points A and B, and what they're asking us to do is find a point P somewhere along the line so that they're in the ratio of 3:2. 3:2 means we're going to divide this line into 5 parts. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. So when we look at it, we have 3 parts on one side and 2 parts on another. And this point right here, that is point P. That's our goal. We are trying to find out where point P is so that 3 parts of the line are from A to P and 2 parts of that line are now going to be from P to B. Okay, so maybe that will help you. So maybe now you can pause the video and give it a second try. All right, so what I like to do first is I like to work from the x coordinate. Okay, so I look at the x coordinate first, and I'm going from 3 to 6. And if I'm going from 3 to 6, that's a total of 3 units. But I only want to go 3 out of 5 parts of that. So I'm going to take 3 times that ratio of 3/5. So when I take 3 times that ratio of 3/5, I get that decimal value of 1.8. So starting at 3, we are going to move 1.8 units. So that x value is going to be 3 plus 1.8. So x is going to be at 4.8. All right, then we also have to now go in and do the same thing for the y coordinate. So I kind of do them separate here. And the y coordinate is going from 2 to 8. So it goes from 2 to 8. And that's a total of 6 units. But remember, I only want 3 parts of that. So 3/5. So I'm going to take 6 times 3/5. And that comes out to be 3.6. So I start at 2 and I move 3.6 units. So I start here at my 2 and I add to it 3.6. And so this is going to be at 5.6. So that point P is 4.8, which makes sense. Between 3 and 6, 4.8. And between 2 and 8, it's going to be at the point 5.6. All right, so that's the way that I go through it. That maybe you have found a different way that works. As long as you can show me the work and arrive at this answer, then you're good to go. All right, let's try this next problem here. So just try this number 1. Give it a shot. So make sure you stop the video right now and then give number 1 a chance. So let's try number 1 here. All right, so I'm assuming you've tried it. I say we're starting at A, we're going to B. So this is A, and we're going to B. And this time, it still looks like they're dividing it into 5 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This time, they want 4 parts on one side of it and only 1 part on the other. Okay, so this time when we're doing the x coordinates, so I'm starting at 1 and going to 8. So that's 7. And this time I'm going 4 parts out of a total 5. So 7 times 4/5 comes out to be 5.6. And now we have to do the same thing for our y's. So our y's are starting at 3 and going to 4. So that's only actually 1 space, but we only want 4/5 of that. So that is going to be our decimal point 8. Okay, so I started at A. See how I started at 1 and went to 8? I started at 3 and went to 4. So I started at A, 1, and then I need to add to it 5.6. Whoops, I don't want that. I wanted a comma there. Comma, and then started at 3, and then we added 0.8 to that. So that find point P is going to be at 6.6, comma, 3.8. All right, so hopefully that's enough to get you going on your homework. We have just a couple more that I would like to run through here. So I just want to make sure, writing an equation of a line passing through a point that is perpendicular to this particular line. Most of the time we've been giving you this equation in y equals mx plus b form, but this is in standard form. So in order to read off the slope, we have to get that into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So y equals minus 2x plus 2. And now we can read off the slope of this line is a negative 2. So if I want to write an equation of a line, I have y equals blank x plus blank. I'm going to put my slope in here. Now, they're looking for a perpendicular slope, and if that slope of this line right here, this slope is a negative 2, what would be the slope of the line perpendicular to that? And so remember, we need to flip it and do the opposite sign. So when we flip this, we're going to get 1/2, and they want it to go through this point right here. So this is my x value, this is my y. So in place of y, I'm putting a 3. In place of x, I'm putting a 2. So it looks like I get 3 equals 1 plus b. So now when I subtract 1 from both sides, I get my y-intercept to be at 2. So the equation of the line passing through the point 2, 3 and perpendicular to this line is going to be y equals 1/2 x plus b. All right, the last one that I want to go through today is something in point slope form. I don't know if we've talked about things too much in point slope form. So write an equation of a line that's perpendicular through this point that's perpendicular to this line. So I need an equation of a line, y equals blank x plus blank. Now when something's in point slope form like this right here is your slope. So if this slope right here is 1/2, what is our perpendicular slope going to be? And that perpendicular slope is going to be a negative 2. And we want it to go through this point 0.05. Now some of you might substitute the x value in for 0 and your y equals value is 5, but some of you might also remember that if your x value is 0, that is the y-intercept. So if we're going to go through that point, that is going to be your y-intercept. Okay, so a couple little tricks there. Hope your homework goes well for you on lesson 3-5.